Some epic champions in Raid Shadow Legends are as good as, if not even slightly better than some legendaries, but don't tell them I said that. I'm going to be covering 10 of those epic champions in this list, and we gotta start things off with, where is she? Dark Elhain. Oh my goodness, this epic champ. So Dark Elhain is one of the epics on this list that, while she doesn't necessarily thrive in all fields of content, she is a literal cheat code. In fact, let me see the reviews. Okay, yeah, she's a literal cheat code in Ice Golem's Peak for a couple reasons, right? Ice Golem freezes the crap out of you. Well, check out that kit, man. A1, not that conspicuous, destroys some target max HP with a bit of damage inflicted. Not too shabby. The A2, this is where it starts to get saucy, man. A2, plus 50% increased attack buff on this champ for 2 turns, then attack all enemies, okay? With a small chance of also placing pretty strong decrease speed debuff for a couple turns as well. Obviously fantastic against bosses, but it's the 2 passives, dude, that just get absolutely nutty. Let's check out this one first, man. Lethal Winter. Fill this champion's turn meter by 25% and instantly activate her A2, right? Whenever this champ or an ally receives a freeze debuff. Yeah, Ice Golem's freezing the crap out of you, man. You're just spamming Death's Majesty all day for free. It's crazy. And so not only are you activating Death's Majesty for free, but yeah, the 10 meter fill, you then just get the opportunity to hit the A1. Like, I don't know, dude. It's just free turns coming out of your ears, right? The second passive, Veins of Ice, instantly remove any freeze debuffs on this champion and replace them. So when she gets frozen, you instead get an increased crit rate debuff and an increased crit damage buff. I actually called that a debuff just now. Whatever, man. And a 15% strengthened buff when an enemy places a freeze debuff on this champion. So yeah, she just loves being frozen, dude. That's it. Crazy, crazy damage. Absolute cheat code, like we said, for the Ice Golem's Peak. That's Dark Elhain, man. How the hell is this an epic? Well, it's an epic because she doesn't exactly flourish in every other field of content, but for Ice Golems, absolutely busted. And hey, man, if you get something out of this video, make sure to click like and subscribe to this Happy You channel. We're starting to get a good thing going here, man. Also drop a comment down below of your favorite epic champ that you feel the entire community might just be sleeping on. Our next champ is actually another Undead Hordes champ by the name of Seeker. There he is. Isn't he beautiful? God. So Seeker is just, I don't know, is he like an arena god? Okay, yeah, arena defense, arena offense, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, absolute arena god, this guy. Mostly because of his A2. I think this might actually be the most powerful turn boost skill in the game. At least the best amongst all epics, right? Fill the 10 meter of all allies by 30% and place a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for a couple turns. Then grant an extra turn. Dude, this guy is just absolutely mental, and you can see how if this guy gets to go first in arena, I mean, it's just self-explanatory how ridiculously good this guy's A2 is. That's Seeker. There's not really much more to it than that. His A2 is just absolutely out of control. The rest of his kit isn't exactly legendary quality, but you know, for the A2 and for a very, very specific game mode, he is an absolute Giga Chad. Next up, we have the epic demon spawn, a champ by the name of Allure, or in my accent, Allure, because that's, I mean, God, what even is my accent, dude? Okay, yeah. Fire Knights. Best part about Allure is that she's actually a free champ, right? You can get it. Well, she's not a free champ, but with a lot of like promo codes and stuff, you can get Allure for free very, very early on with a fresh new account. And so Allure is the bane of Fire Knight. Now, that said, she's not the only Fire Knight destroyer that we've got on this list. We're actually going to be covering another one, the actual deleter, the eviscerator of Fire Knight after Allure, but Allure is a really, really good spot to start off with on that fight. Her A1, attack 3 times at random, decrease the target's turn meter by 25% on each crit. Just give her 100% crit. The Fire Knight end boss, it's single target, all of these attacks hit the same guy, you basically just delete his turn meter with your A1. Unbelievable, honestly. A2 is an attack all enemies 2 times, which honestly, like, even regardless of all of the extra effects of this, just having an attack all enemies 2 times on the A2, even that is really, really good. Right, once you get into something like a dungeon fight where you've got a very, very specialized team for just eviscerating the boss at the end of a dungeon fight, that's all well and good, but you also want to make sure that you actually get to the boss easily enough, you know, and that can be part of the annoyance of running dungeons. You can have a team that's perfectly designed to annihilate the boss, but then it's also a team that kind of lags or takes a long time to kill the actual like trash packs, like the waves before the boss. So she's even not got that covered with the A2 man. As for the A3, to be honest, I don't know, do you just like disable this going into Fire Knight with Allure? Attack one enemy, 30% extra chance of inflicting a crit. Like, who the hell cares about this, man? I think that you'd probably just disable that going into Fire Knight, but that's Allure. She's awesome. The next champ we're going to cover is actually Lady Atessa. Not because she's the most broken epic in the game, she's pretty damn solid, but Lady Atessa has the advantage of being completely free to acquire. All you got to do is head on down below and click the link in the pinned comment. You'll be getting Lady Atessa as part of a $100 Fresh Raid Shadow Legends starter account pack. You'll be getting Atessa, you'll be getting 500,000 silver right away. You'll be getting another 500,000 silver when your account hits level 25, plus 5 epic skill tomes, a ton of ascension potions, experience boosts, energy refills, everything you could hope to get your hands on with a fresh account. So make sure to click that link down below, boys. Speaking about the actual deleter of Fire Knight, for an epic champ, Fenshi has it all. Look at this kit, dude. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Okay. Each hit has a solid chance of placing a strong decreased speed debuff for a couple turns. That's just the A1. Like, what is going on with this A1, dude? The A2 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. And then you have the A3, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit places a 5% poison debuff on the target. Oi, 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 dude. Now, while Allure does have more turn meter reduction potential when it comes to just raw damage, plus being able to crack the Fire Knight shield, with also just a little bit of turn meter action, I feel like Fenshi just does it all. He's the complete Fire Knight destruction package. And as long as you have a little bit of turn meter reduction mechanics on some of your other champs as well, yeah, it doesn't matter so much that it's only a 15% turn meter reduction, you know? That's Fenshi. My god, do I want this champ. Next up, we have the Geomancer of the Dwarves faction. Oh my god, look at this guy's reviews, man. Yeah. And there's a reason for this one in particular, dude. Is this guy a Hydra deleter or what, man? So his A1 attacks all enemies with a chance of placing a decreased accuracy debuff, which is all tight and good. The A2, while it's good, it's a remove all debuffs and actually steal debuffs if the target's under HP burn. It's good, but I've actually seen that a lot of folks, when it comes to Hydra and you get the correct gear on your Geomancer, right? The correct artifact sets, you actually just disable the A2 completely and make it all about getting out as much of the A3 in every fight as you possibly can. The A3 fully depletes the target's turn meter and fills this champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses, has a actually 100% chance of placing a HP burn and a weaken debuff on the target for 3 turns. So nice and long lasting, man. And obviously with the correct masteries, this can sometimes be bumped up to a 4-turn debuff duration as well. And so the idea is you want to put this guy in something like a reflex set, right? So, that 40% chance to reduce the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn. And what that's going to do is allow you to just blast your Quicksand Grasp and the HP burn debuff out on, for example, as many Hydra heads as possible, right? And then it's all about the passive. Check this out, dude. Once you've got the HP burn effect up, you are chunking, man. Decrease the damage all allies receive by 15% and deflect that damage onto each enemy under HP burn. Pretty goddamn tight. Whenever this champion is attacked, this is where it gets serious, man. Deflects 30% of the damage instead. When deflecting damage, has a 30% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP. My god. Dude. And so you can see how you combine this guy with like a reflex set, just focus on building him for like speed and survivability, and just pumping the Quicksand Grasp burns out on as many Hydra heads as possible and as many targets as possible in these multi-target boss fights. And dude, the passive just does the rest, man. Are you kidding me with this? This thing can proc like crazy, and I have no idea. Well, okay, I was about to say I have no idea how this guy is an epic champ. He's quite situational, but dude, is he damn good at what he does. Next up, we have a Kemptum, and dude, honestly, I don't even really know how to categorize this guy. I think he's just good at like everything, but he's particularly good in fights that require just a lot of AoE, right? So, okay, dude, breaking down this guy's kit is a little bit of a headache. It TLDRs is Mass Hex and Mass Poison Spread. The A1 is an attack one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing a poison debuff. pretty goddamn tight. If the target is under a hex, each hit also has a chance of applying debuff spread, taking one random debuff from the target and placing it on all enemies. And so that's each individual hit, dude. This can trigger 3 times from one attack, man, from just the A1, which is absolutely nuts, okay? The A2 is an attack all enemies 3 stinking times. Each hit has a 60% chance of increasing the duration of any hex debuffs on enemies by 1/10. And if enemies are not under the hex debuff, it's basically guaranteed that they're gonna get the hex debuff. And then just to give him crazy scaling and longer fights, we have the passive man. Has an 80% chance, or rather 100% chance I suppose, of inflicting damage from 1 poison debuff to enemies under a hex debuff when their allies receive damage from poison debuffs. So, I don't know, dude, TLDR, man. Combine this guy with anybody who can spam hexes across the entire enemy team, stack up poisons, and then just spread the poisons like crazy and enjoy all of the double dip action from his passive, man. The more poisons you're spreading, the more one Ned's poisons are just affecting the guy beside him and the guy beside him, and it just snowballs out of control like crazy. Akemtum, nuts. Probably not as good as probably as good as some legendaries. I feel he deserves a place on this list, man. Next up we have Vorgoth, dude. He's got an attack one enemy 3 times on his A1. He's also got an attack all enemies on his A2. Mass provoke, right? Seen this a few times. Nothing that special about this guy, right? Until you check out his first passive, man. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Only 25% of the damage received against boss attacks. But even still, this amount of passive healing across your entire team is just sort of unbelievable, right? Especially when you put this guy in like a healing artifact set or something like that. Could be totally worth. We've also got passive number 2, Eerie Presence. When attacked, places a leech buff on the attacker for a couple of turns. So the more guys you're provoking up on, the more leech buffs you're throwing out there as well. Just going to help out the rest of your group by a lot. And if the attacker is under a provoke debuff placed by this champion, also has a chance of increasing a cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by a couple of turns. All in all, an extremely solid provoke style tank with the added bonus of just this crazy amount of team-wide healing. Vorgoth, crazy as hell. Is he as good as a legendary? I don't know, man. But again, I feel like he deserves a spot on this list. Next up, we head over to the Knights Revenant faction to take a quick look at the Miscreated Monster. And this is one of those champs that's just a god, a cheat code against certain bosses. And this one is going to be Spider's Den, right? And it's all really about the A2, man. You can crank this thing down to a 310 cooldown. It's an attack all enemies with a 50% chance of dropping a stun debuff for 110. But this is the big bit, dude. Places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, so a long-lasting shield equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. Oh my god, are those going to be some enormous shields if this guy is cracking like, I don't know, 15, 20 spiders over the head, man, with this A2. Absolutely insane. His A3 is also pretty impressive too. A 50% ally protection buff on all allies except for this champ for 3 turns, and also heals the crap out of this guy. Just gonna help keep your team alive, but dude, this A2, that's what it's all about. Spider's Den, Miscreated Monster, use him, goddammit. Next up, we head on over to the Bannerlords faction to take a quick peek at Ursula the Mourner. Absolutely insane thanks to her A3. This is probably like, what? Is this one of the most powerful AoE revives in the game? Like, including legendaries? I think it's just mental. Revive all dead allies with 75% health, and then fill the 10 meters by 50%. Mental. Also places a 60% increased defense buff and a 25% strengthen on all allies for 3 turns. Like, dude, you want your team to die with Ursula, man. This revive is so good, you know? Her A2 is also pretty tight and attack all enemies with a 75% chance of placing a decreased attack debuff for a couple turns. Huge. And also places an increased attack buff on all allies for a couple turns as well. So yeah, even the A2 just packing an incredible amount of value. But this revive, oi, this thing is damn good. And finally, we got ourselves Dark Kael. In the Dark Elves faction, we gotta cover Dark Kael for one reason only, dude. Actually, is it his passive? Okay, yeah, it is his passive, man. Decrease the crit rate of enemies under 2 or more poison debuffs by 15%. Decreasing the crit rate of certain bosses, namely Dragon, gives that boss 0% crit rate. That's all there is to it, really. So consider Dark Kael your pick, your cheat code for Dragon boss, and just pushing Dragon to the absolute max in as far as epics go. And in fact, to be fair, the rest of his kit also does bear a mention. It's insanely powerful too. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 25% chance to instantly activate 2 poison debuffs or 1 poison debuff and an HP burn debuff. Unbelievable amount of power in this A1 alone. Yeah, then he's got like poison effects, poison vulnerability, blah, 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 blah. That kill, overall, just a Giga Chad, but that minus 50% crit rate of enemies against Dragon, absolutely priceless. So once again, make sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and most importantly, drop a comment down below if you feel like I missed a specific epic champion that you really value and you feel the rest of the community is sleeping on. If you're starting off a fresh Raid Shadow Legends account anytime soon, make sure to do so by using the code, or the link rather, down below in the pinned comment to start off your fresh account with like $100 worth of free stuff. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this one. I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later.